Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Surya Raut and today we'll be discussing the questions those are asked in ISAT practice test series 1. Okay, so let us look at the questions for biology. The first question which was asked there, which of the statement is correct? Okay, so let us look at these options very carefully. The option A talks about viruses only multiply inside host cell. Viruses can multiply outside as well as inside host cell. Viruses multiply only outside. Viruses only multiply in humans. So before actually discussing or choosing the right choice, we should know about the viruses. So therefore we can choose the correct option correctly. As we know, so this is the structure of a given virus. Okay, what does the virus have? The virus has actually two different components. One is the genetic material, which is either DNA or RNA, and it has a protein coat. The protein coat is called as capsid. There are some viruses which have an additional layer which is called as the envelope. Okay, so this is the one, envelope. Okay, and there are some other viruses which do not have an envelope also. So essentially it consists of two different components, the capsid, which is made up of proteins, and the nucleic acid, which is either DNA or RNA. So this is the essentially the component of a virus. They do not have any cell-based organelles or they do not have cytoplasm. So therefore viruses are called as acellular organisms. Okay, and acellular organisms cannot do metabolism because metabolism is a key feature of organisms having cells. So only those organisms have cells, they can do metabolism. What is metabolism? It is the sum total of all metabolic reactions. All the biochemical reactions happening in our cells or bodies are called as metabolism. So cells can metabolize only when they have all essential components of the cell, including organelles and the cytoplasm. But viruses cannot do that. So therefore organisms without carrying out the process of metabolism will not kind of grow on its own or reproduce on its own. So therefore viruses cannot multiply on its own, it needs some assistance. So always therefore viruses are called as parasites. What are parasites? Parasites are the organism which depend on another living organism for its growth and development. So viruses depend on another living organism. That living organism can be a plant, it can be animal, it can be human, it can be a bacteria also. There are some viruses which grow on bacteria also, right? So there are different kind of viruses, but always they need a living host for its growth, and they cannot multiply outside. Outside the host cell, viruses are considered to be dead, but inside the host cell, they are considered to be living. Let us look at the choices here. Viruses only multiply inside host cell. I said yes, they can multiply inside the host cell. So the option A is the correct choice. Viruses can multiply outside as well as inside host cell. Inside to correct hai, but outside is not correct. Okay, because I said that outside the host cell viruses are non-living. So this option is incorrect. Viruses multiply only outside. In outside they are dead, right? So this option is also incorrect. Viruses only multiply in humans. They multiply in humans, but do they only multiply in humans? No. They multiply also in plants, they can multiply in animals, they can also multiply in bacteria. Okay, so they cannot only multiply in humans. If this option would have been given, viruses multiply in humans, that would have been a correct choice. But the option is given here, viruses only multiply, that is why it is a incorrect choice also. So the option A therefore is going to be the correct answer. So let's look at the next question. The next question is a very simple and straightforward one. Tuberculosis is caused by, tuberculosis, as we know that, okay, it is caused by a bacterium, okay, which is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, okay, and it is a aerobic bacteria. It requires oxygen for its survival, that is why it is called as aerobic bacteria, and it is a rod-shaped bacteria, right? So it's a rod-shaped bacteria and aerobic bacteria. So the choices which are given here, bacteria, fungi, virus and protozoa, the option is going to be bacteria. Very simple and straightforward answer for this one. Okay. Let's look at the next option. Which of the following is not a fungus? It is saying which of the following is not a fungus. Okay. Let us look at the first option, Aspergillus. Aspergillus is a fungus. Okay. Penicillium is also a fungus. Aspergillus is the fungus which causes aspergillosis in human beings. Penicillium, it's a fungus which produces the famous antibiotic penicillin, that is also a fungus. Rhizopus is commonly called as bread mold. That grows on the surface of the bread, that is why the name is called as bread mold. Okay, so that's also a fungus. Okay, Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a sporozoa. Okay, it's a kind of protist. Okay, and that causes malaria in human beings. Okay, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, so Plasmodium is not a fungus. So the option for this one, the correct option for this one is going to be Plasmodium. Let's look at the next question. Which of the following is a unicellular organism? Okay, what are the choices we have here? Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, Rhizopus and Penicillium. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular algae. As we know, this is the structure of Chlamydomonas. Okay, so this is the structure of Chlamydomonas. This will have a flagella. Okay, and it has a specific cup-shaped nucleus, a cup-shaped chloroplast. Okay, so that is the characteristic feature of Chlamydomonas. So this is a unicellular green algae. Spirogyra is a multicellular algae. Okay, but this is again a multicellular organism. Rhizopus is a fungus which is also multicellular in nature. Penicillium is a fungus which is also multicellular in nature. So the only organism which is unicellular here is Chlamydomonas. Okay. Look at the next question. Alcohol fermentation is done by a microorganism which belong to the group. Okay, there are some specific groups written over here: algae, fungi, protozoa and viruses. Okay, if you look at the options here, okay, we know that alcohol fermentation is a anaerobic respiration. There are two different kind of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and alcohol is produced during the anaerobic respiration. Okay, and it is produced by a specific organism which is known as yeast. Okay, and yeast breaks down glucose to produce what? Ethanol. Produces ethanol plus carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is also produced from glucose molecule. Okay, and the entire process happens during anaerobic process, anaerobic condition where oxygen is not present. Okay, so if we look at the options, yeast is a fungi, unicellular fungi, so therefore the option here is going to be fungi. Okay, let us look at the next question. Which of the statement is correct? Okay, this is a very tricky question. Okay, let us look at the options here. All microorganisms can live in hot spring. As we know that most of the microorganisms grow in specific temperature and environmental conditions. Okay, they cannot grow in wide range of environmental conditions. Okay, they are very specific. Okay, for example, the temperature in the hot spring is very high. Okay, so therefore only microorganisms which have the capability to grow at high temperature will grow there, right? And those organisms are called as thermophilic organisms. Thermophilic organisms. Thermophilic means, thermo means temperature, philic means they love. Okay, they love to grow at high temperature. Okay, but how these organisms grow at high temperature? That's a very good question, right? These organisms are able to grow in high temperature because the enzymes they produce, those enzymes can survive that high temperature conditions. Because we know that all enzymes are proteins, and proteins kind of their structure kind of break down at a very high temperature. Okay, so therefore the enzymes cannot function anymore. But these organisms which grow in high temperature, their proteins are such, their enzymes are such that the proteins are not disrupted at high temperature. So that is why they can grow. Not all organisms can grow at high temperature. So therefore the first question stands wrong, because all microorganisms cannot grow in hot spring, right? All microorganisms live inside human. No, the human body doesn't allow all pathogens to grow inside us. Only some specific pathogens can infect or live inside us by a symbiotic relationship. Either they can infect us or they can live in a symbiotic relationship where they help us and we help them, right? But not all pathogens can infect human being, right? So therefore all organisms, all microorganisms cannot live. Viruses do not have a cellular structure. Okay, we have discussed that already. Do viruses have a cellular structure? No, they don't have a cellular structure. So this option stands correct. All microorganisms are infectious? Not really. There are a lot of microorganisms which are helpful to us. There are a lot of pathogens, bacteria, they live inside our gut and they help us in many ways. For example, E. coli. There are some strains of E. coli that live inside our gut and help us. Okay, there are many microorganisms that help us making different kind of food materials, different kind of antibiotics. So they do not necessarily infect other organisms. Okay, so all microorganisms therefore are not infectious. Okay, so this is also a wrong choice. So third one is the correct option therefore. So let's go to the last question. The last question says that which of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen? Okay, as we know that the atmospheric nitrogen the nitrogen can be converted into ammonia by an enzyme called as nitrogenase. Okay, the nitrogen, okay, two molecules of nitrogen you have here, two atoms of nitrogen here we have. So they are connected by triple bond. It's a very strong bond actually, and to break that bond we need an enzyme which is called as nitrogenase, which facilitates the production of ammonia, because nitrogen cannot be utilized by the plants directly. It has to be converted into some form where they can utilize that, and that is the ammonia. Okay. And if we look at the organisms that are given here, all bacteria, can they fix atmospheric nitrogen? No, all bacteria cannot do that. Some bacteria they can do that. For example, rhizobium. Rhizobium is a kind of bacteria which is associated with the roots of some leguminous plants. Okay, and they form nodules called as root nodules, and there they actually fix atmospheric nitrogen. All fungi, they do not also produce they fix atmospheric nitrogen. Viruses cannot do that because they cannot metabolize only. They don't have these enzymes to produce kind of ammonia. Blue-green algae, there are certain strains of blue-green algae, okay, which can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Okay, how do they do that? How do the blue-green algae actually helps in the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen? If you look at the structure of a blue-green algae, so they have some specialized cells. Okay, and these specialized cells are different from the rest of their other cells. Okay, how they are different? They are actually much more protected. Okay, these cells are much more protected, and protected from what? Protected from oxygen. Okay, so they have an additional covering that protect these cells from oxygen. Okay, so these cells are impermeable to oxygen. Why they need to be impermeable to oxygen? Because this nitrogenase enzyme is very sensitive to oxygen. In presence of oxygen, this enzyme will not function. So therefore what happens? These cells do not get oxygen, and what they do, and they have the nitrogenase enzyme, and they take the nitrogen and convert that to ammonia. So the answer for this question is going to be blue-green algae. Okay, so this completes the discussion for all biology questions. Thank you very much.